And
This
I've asked
conference will now be recorded.
Jessica to give us a very quick underwriting update. I'm sorry? Jessica's going to give us a very quick underwriting update in terms of some of the changes that she's seen. What I'd like to do is start with, let me go ahead and jump in there. What I'd like to do is go ahead and just refer you guys to the screen, and if I may ask everybody to just mute their calls and unmute as you have any questions, and please feel free to interrupt me at any time. You know, Vive is a platform that was launched by Libra Insurance Partners, which was a merger between Bramco and LifeMark Partners. We are a partner firm in that organization and have access to this on an exclusive basis through the Libra partnership. So it's a great tool that was built by one of our partners. It's been deployed now by AgencyONE for about maybe a month and a half or two, and we're having great success with it. I will tell you that 2 Fridays ago, my sister-in-law was over at my house and asked me to write some insurance on her. I took the app I quoted it. I took the app on my iPhone. I submitted the ticket. She interviewed on Wednesday, and by Friday she was approved. 56-year-old female for $500,000. So, you know, that's the kind of results we're starting to see. And I think we're going to see more and more of it as carriers are really looking at how they can do more expedited business. And I will tell you that Prudential also on the call said they're pushing just about every case they can to fast track because they understand that people just don't want to be face to face. You know, what's going to be interesting about this is, you know, if they expand all these limits, are they going to go back? You know, is this a real change in the way we do business on a going forward basis permanently, or is it going to be a temporary solution? Then we go back to our, you know, dumb old ways of doing business. So the reality is that I think we're going to see quite a bit of permanence in some of the things that are going down, and that the industry is now really embracing this and finding ways through electronic health records, telephone interviews, and all the other algorithmic underwriting processes that they will have. But, you know, Vive is not just for automated underwriting, and let's just kind of jump in real quick. You guys can see the screen. The first thing I'll point to you, and Lisa's going to send this out to everybody, but you can certainly download it here, is this step-by-step guide. I would encourage you, if you're using Vive, to download this or send it to clients. This document explains everything that's going to happen during the underwriting process. And again, I won't spend a lot of time here because you're going to get it via email, but it's a nice little guide, step-by-step, that walks clients through how Vive works. The beautiful thing about Vive, unlike other systems such as IGO, which we're going to talk about on Friday, is that Vive takes that whole accelerated underwriting process decision kind of out of the way you drop the ticket. With a lot of the IGO applications, different carriers have 3 different ways to submit, and you've got to decide whether you want to drop a ticket for accelerated or whether you want to go full e-app, et cetera, et cetera. So Vive kind of takes that process out of your hands and it makes it fully automated. So this process is described here for clients. Go back to this. And then there's the other thing right here, which is a client data form. If you don't have time to talk to your client immediately, you can send them this form. They can fill it out. Everything you will need to drop a ticket on Vive is on this sheet. So all the client information, and you can see that it's only a couple of pages, is really all you need to drop a ticket for Vive. So that's also a handy little tool that's on there. So let's go in and walk you through how you
Go to see to the right.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Here. Okay, so what we're going to do is, yes.
Gonzalo, it's Barry.
Please go ahead. Yes, hey, how are you?
Oh, good. That client data sheet, is it a separate PDF that we could download?
Yes, sir. And you will have it again off of, it's a downloadable PDF, and you can send it to clients, and everybody who registered for this call will be receiving it in a PDF file from Lisa after the call.
Excellent,
okay?
Thank you.
Great, you got it, Barry. All right, so when you drop a when you drop a
I just got a-
ticket, it's a really.
Can everybody please pause themselves?
Yeah, okay, so basically, when you start an order, when you're right here and you launch Vive, you will come to this screen, and in order to start a case, all you need to do is just say, start an order, okay? Once you get to that, your screen will look like, not like that, like,
Oh, maybe
maybe I closed it. Oh,
Okay,
yeah, here we go,
yeah.
here we go. Your screen's gonna look like this, and I'm just gonna walk you through real quick. You know, obviously you guys have seen all this stuff before. You're gonna put the name and the amounts and so on and so forth in here. We've already pre-populated, so I wasn't doing it while we're sitting here talking. And then you're gonna say continue. And it's going to give you quotes. So right now there are 5 carriers on Vive: Prudential, Protective, Principal, Pacific Life, which is their Promise products, and Banner. We will be adding Lincoln and AG probably next quarter. And I will tell you that 95, 97% of the time, these 5 carriers will represent the top 3 rates for the entire market. Okay, so you've got confidence that you're selling something that is going to be competitive. What's very interesting about Vive is that they come up with a score, and you'll notice here that this is not always the cheapest, but as you can see here, the Vive score ranks the carriers based on ratings, conversion privileges, which for many people are important, product features such as, for example, what is a late premium, when is, what's your grace period, a number of other things that come into product features, and eligibility for accelerated underwriting. So you will know if the case is eligible for accelerated underwriting right over here on the right side of the screen. Okay, it has an AU thing right here on the side. Now, if you want to order by price, you can do that. You just click here, and that is the cheapest price, when it's Protective Classic Choice Term, for example. But if you want to go with the Vive score, then you just click here, and it gives you rankings in Vive score. Now, you're going to see different descriptions on the Vive score. The other thing they're going to be adding in short order is what I'm going to call carrier experience, and I think it's important to just spend a minute on that. We've all seen carriers that have had a rate drop and a cheap product or something hot that's on the market, and all of a sudden they cannot get out of their own way to issue policies, and it takes forever. So if you want to deal with a company that has the ability to actually get your contracts issued to your clients in an expedited manner, then you want to be mindful of that. So that will be added to the Vive score here in short order. So once you've got the quote, and let's say that the client wants to do Pru Essential or Protective Custom Term, you're going to come over here.
Oh, the 2 arrows are facing each other. No.
Here,
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's say we want to drop a ticket with Protective. So you just click on next here, and as I said before, Friday 2 weeks ago, I actually dropped a ticket on my iPhone. All this technology is tablet and phone compatible. So you can click next here, and then you would fill out the application. Now, I'm going to let Bridget take over here because she types faster than I do, and she knows the system a lot better than I do. So I'll let Bridget take over. I mean, it's literally 2 screens of information, and you drop the ticket and you're in business. And she will also talk about the dashboard and how the case management system works, so you'll see that.
Okay, so we've picked our carrier, we've moved forward past the quote screen, and now we are going to fill in the client information. And again, this is a drop ticket, so this is going to give the carrier or the vendor as little information as they need in order to call as a representative of you, the agent, and actually be able to then speak with the client and obtain all the additional paperwork. So right here we've got male client. We're going to just put in, I'll just put in email address. This is one page we couldn't do ahead of time, so I apologize. And we're going to put a phone number in and an address. We'll just put Rockville, and we'll put Maryland. And as you can see, pretty simple so far. Yes. And I'm going to say personal. And sure, no. And here's the quote information that Gonzalez ran earlier. Does the proposed insured having existing or pending? No. Will the proposed insured be the owner? Yes. We'll say
Me.
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez the beneficiary. Friend.
Friend.
Father, okay.
We'll say father. Now you're the father. And we'll say 100. And we'll just say, okay. And then we'll continue.
That's it.
And that's it. And then you're going to get your submission agreement, and you're going to be able to say that you reviewed it, and you're going to be able to submit. And at that point, once the drop ticket is submitted, it will get picked up. It'll get transferred and picked up by the carrier immediately. And then they will, at that point, move forward with their interview. So some carriers have the interviews done by vendors, whether it's AgencyONE or it's EMSI, and then others have internal staff that do the interview for them. So once we submit it, let me close this out. Just give me 1 second. We don't have so many windows open. Okay, so once we've submitted it, and we've gone through the quote section, and we've gone through the drop ticket section, we're going to be able to have a dashboard here. And this dashboard is really a case status feature. I will tell you that it does take some getting used to, because each carrier has a different way of noting their status. Although you will see that the bubbles represent the same status, so it'll say order received, tele-interview, initial review, medical exam review. Each carrier has a different way of how they note that, or what makes the status either green or red. And we have a spreadsheet that we can send to you. You can also reach out to your case managers about it. But really what it's doing is it's making sure that you know where the case stands. And so green means that it is completed. And then you'll see blue if it's still outstanding. You'll see red if there is an alert. The alert may be that something is needed or necessary to move forward, or it may be that the service, the carriers each have service level agreements in place, and if they're not meeting the service level agreement that was negotiated to become part of Vive, then the system will alert the agent that something's not moving forward as it should. So, if a case goes through as accelerated underwriting, it will note over on the right side of the bubbles AU for accelerated.
Oh, there you go.
So you'll see. In addition to that, I did want to mention something that's pretty cool. The Promise product through Pac Life. They have a program called Smooth Sailing, and this is in addition to the regular accelerated underwriting programs that the carriers have. But Smooth Sailing is a program that is for older ages. So a lot of times you'll notice that the accelerated programs will typically only go up to 60 or maybe 50, depending if they limit the face amount. The smooth sailing program is for clients age nearest 50 through 69. The amount of coverage applied for and in force with Pac Life must be less than or equal to $1 million. And they will allow a comprehensive physical and blood work from the applicant's personal physician within 18 months. Up to 2 years of history may be requested. So this is a really cool feature. If you do the drop ticket for Pac Life using the promised term, and you have someone that falls within that 50 to 69 age range, they can potentially move forward with an exam and blood work that was done with their doctor within the last 18 months without being examined at all. So keep that in mind as well.
Anything else, Bridget?
That
was a pretty quick review. You can all see just how intuitive the platform is relative to dropping tickets. I think in today's world and changing every day, this is a platform that allows you to do a lot more focused transaction business that, just from an underwriting standpoint, nobody wants to be seeing doctors and physicians right now. We're getting a lot of exams and stuff waived, but for those cases that qualify, up to age 60 for the most part and up to $1 million, you can get accelerated underwriting. With Pac Life, you can go up to age 69 with 18 months prior physical,
right.
Which is great.
Yeah. And just to kind of touch on the face amounts and the face amounts and the age, there's no restrictions as far as face amount and age go for Vive, but I will tell you it's all term. So this is a term platform at this time.
Quick question.
Yeah, sure. Mitch, go ahead. How are you?
I'm good. Growing a beard because there's no reason to shave. Do we all have this dashboard? If we doing something with Vive? I assume that we're not going to be seeing everybody's case. We'll have our own case status.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Everything will be just so.
Yeah.
Hey, Mitch, what you brought up an important thing, and thank you for bringing that up. But you will only see your cases, obviously.
Right.
One thing that's very, very important for those of you that think that Vive may be a part of your practice, right here under Get Contracted. Okay, it's not that you're going to get contracted. It's really more that you're going to get registered as a Vive user.
Right.
So the very first thing you need to do in Vive, for those of you that are not, when you go on to AgencyONE, there is a Vive. You can click on Vive, but you have to come in here and get contracted. Now, Bridget's already contracted. She's already a user. But again, it's registered, not contracted. So it's not getting contracted with a carrier, it's getting registered as a Vive user. What that allows us to do is we can also run quotes here and send you a link to the quotes. So when you get a link from us coming from Vive, it will be on the case that we quoted for you. You can run your own quotes, or you can call our illustration team and have them run the quotes, and they'll send you a link. But you have to be a registered user on Vive in order for us to send you that link. You're also going to be registered on Vive in order to drop a ticket. So it's important that you go up to this Get Contracted button up here on the right so that you can register as a Vive user.
Okay. Next question.
And then, of course, then all cases will show up on your dashboard, Mitch.
Okay. And then I had another question. And are you going to send us with the various companies what their particular limits and age qualifications are?
It's right.
Or is it
right here? Well, again, as Bridget said, you could drop a ticket for a $10 million case. It just won't be accelerated. Okay, you can drop a ticket for a $5 million, $10 million, $20 million case. It's okay to do that, but it'll just go through regular underwriting. Right. Now, if you want to see up here, I clicked on the how Vive works and accelerated underwriting. Okay. It also tells you what the Vive score case status and so on. But right here, it tells you what the accelerated underwriting limits are for the carriers. Now,
Oh,
I will tell you that just this morning, we received an update from Principal, and they will now go to, up to age 50, they'll go to 2.5 million, and up to age 60, they'll go to 2 million. So these numbers are changing. They're changing very, very rapidly. So you just have to bear with us as we update all these things. But I was going to let Jessica, I believe you're on the phone, if you just want to take a minute, if we don't have any other questions, Mitch, to just give us a quick update on what's going on from an underwriting perspective. We're at 25 minutes after the hour, so we do want to respect your time and end this right at 12:30, but we're happy to stay on as long as there are questions. Jessica,
Sure.
can you just give us a quick update on underwriting, please?
I can. Well, as you can imagine, we are getting multiple emails daily with carrier responses and underwriting updates to the COVID-19 virus. They're all still kind of trying to figure out their stance on travel, exposure, infection, and of course, exam requirements. Generally speaking, they're all postponing if clients have any planned travel outside of the country, particularly to the hot spots. Generally speaking, most are postponing between 14 and 30 days if a client has recently returned from one of the hot spots. You can anticipate some of these international underwriting programs to be suspended as well for the time being. I think you want to make sure you're preparing your applicants to be asked to either attest or provide good health statement that to their knowledge they haven't been exposed or been in physical contact with a family member that's been exposed to the virus. And generally speaking, if you have a client down the road that has been infected, most of the carriers have between 30 and 90-day postponed periods from the resolution of all symptoms. We have been on the phone and pushing the carriers daily to loosen up agent amount requirements, particularly as it pertains to exam requirements. And we're starting to see that feedback. John Hancock in particular has put in writing that they are going to work case by case to try to get things done without exam requirements. And as Gonzalo just mentioned, Principal just today has loosened up their accelerated underwriting program. So with each of your cases, we are going to go to bat with the information that we're able to get out of the APS and try to keep your clients from having to have an insurance exam. With that, we are also regularly updating our accelerated underwriting spreadsheet, which can be found on our website. We're going to be adding a tab that will contain the Executive Advantage programs. These programs are fluidless programs for your higher net worth individuals that need more coverage. For instance, Lincoln even goes up to 20 million. And then I think we have PAC and Nationwide that are 3 and 5 million respectively. So look for that. In addition, on our homepage, we are keeping, there's a link down towards the bottom that houses all of the underwriting responses from each carrier. You can see kind of right there in the middle, COVID-19 carrier partner announcements. Those are the stated ones that the companies are publishing. But if you have particular questions, you should reach out to someone on the underwriting team here because we have a lot more inside scoop than what the carriers are willing to put out there. So that's about it from my end, unless anyone has any questions. Wait, one more thing. In terms of the accelerated underwriting programs, we do have a few carriers that are willing to stack coverage, as long as, that you don't have an exorbitant amount of coverage in force with one particular carrier. So just as a quick hit, Principal, Nationwide, Protective, Prudential, they don't mind if you're applying at 3 different companies for $1 million because you have a client that can financially justify a $3 million need, assuming, of course, they're healthy. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. And again, reach out to us with any of your particular questions. We're here to help.
Hey, this is Garrett calling. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Garrett.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something. Did you just say that carriers, if there was expected travel outside the country, that they're doing postpones on those too? just because I do have some clients that were planning on leaving the country, but obviously there's a travel ban right now. So those plans are all basically either canceled or rescheduled to a point where we don't know yet. Is that, something similar, or should because I've basically considered it not disclosing that they're no longer leaving the country right now.
Well, yeah, we have had cases postponed because of planned travel. All of the carriers are looking at the U.S. State Department warnings. I think this is just temporary, but right now there's a pretty firm statement that they're not insuring folks that are planning to leave the country. Now, I think you're going to see that change even in the next, months. Again, this is so fluid that, what's today is in practice might not be tomorrow. But yeah, we have had some cases where people had a cruise planned or, planned to visit Europe in the summertime, and they're postponing that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Hey, I just want to mention one last thing, and it's, on Friday, we're going to talk about IGO, which is our other drop ticket platform. And on the website, there's the ability to, from the dashboard, to go to IGO here, and you'll see that. But what I wanted to point out is, because a lot of people are asking us about underwriting, in the new business tab under accelerated underwriting, and we update this regularly, as you can see, it was just updated in March 2020, is our accelerated underwriting spreadsheet, which talks about every single carrier's underwriting guidelines, so you guys can see that as well and take advantage of any carriers. I think Jessica said about stacking, we're starting to see more of that, and there are some expanded limits with, you can see Nationwide will go up to $2 million for under age 50. Prudential is talking about increasing their limits. A number of principals just increased there. So we're starting to see, $3 and $5 million policies, assuming clients are in good health, that are going accelerated, and we can get $2, $3, $4, $5 million, depending on how many carriers are involved. So hopefully, go ahead, Pitch.
No, I was just going to say, and also too, just to add to that, you can click on the carrier name, and there's a link, and that will give you additional information about the program, as well as some of the carriers have checklists, things that will knock out a client from being accelerated. So you keep that in mind as well. I think that the most important thing when you're looking at Vive and IGO, especially the drop tickets, is to really set the expectations with your client and prepare them as much as possible. On our website, under new business, we have a prep sheet that can be branded with your logo as well, and it really highlights a lot of the more important things that clients should be prepared with when they're doing an interview. You don't want your client to, first of all, you want your client to realize how important the interview is, because a lot of times that's where things bottleneck. They don't realize the case isn't moving forward without that interview. So you want to make sure they realize how important the interview is. And then also, too, with the prep sheet, they can have all of the important information that's going to be asked of them that they might not have readily available. They can have that, such as in-force coverage, policy numbers, prescriptions they're currently on, things like that. And if they're prepared for the call, then a call can be 20 to 30 minutes versus 45 minutes to an hour, because obviously we don't want your client frustrated, because that doesn't help the case move along, and it doesn't help your relationship. So we want, if you can have them as prepared as possible, and everything goes smoothly, that's what we're aiming for.
And the last thing I would say is, I've put up the principal height weight chart and some of the excludable conditions for accelerated underwriting. Don't submit somebody who's 5'8" and weighs 270 pounds, because right here they're not going to be accelerated, right? The limit's 240. If they've got a bipolar disorder, they have hepatitis or a history of cancer, they're not going to get accelerated. So we're just trying to make sure you guys have the information you need to set expectations relative to accelerated and algorithmic or fluidless underwriting.
I will say, too, that some of the carriers, I think Nationwide comes to mind with that. If you go through the platform and you're hoping for accelerated, and for some reason they get bumped out of accelerated, they will, instead of doing a full exam, they will do an abbreviated exam. So the requirements are actually a little bit less than what a normal paper application would be. So keep that in mind as well.
Yes, I'm going to add to that quickly.
Kathy, with that, I think we're done. I would just say, Go ahead, Jess.
Sorry, guys. I just want to add quickly to Nationwide's credit, the individuals that conduct the telephone interview are doctors and nurses. So they're trained to ask certain reflexive questions and get kind of to the bottom of what they actually need. And Nationwide has been able to they save so much money on ordering APS records as a result of that. So just another thing to think about. They also do the telephone interview with the script check, MIB, and all of their third-party checks in hand, which is definitely a step above the other accelerated platforms or even telephone interview platforms. You can use intelligent underwriting all the way up to 5 million, all the way up to age 70. But the acceleration piece only goes up to 1 million age 60 or 2 million age 50. So just something to keep in mind. If you have any questions, again, reach out to any of us in underwriting and we can help you.
Kathy, you want to wrap this up for us?
I would be delighted to.
Might have to take yourself.
I'm off mute. Thank you. So I hope that you got some value out of this webinar explaining Vive. We are here to help you. We are seeing an increase in the number of cases that are coming in using the available technology. If there was ever a time to learn how to use the technology to master it and make it available to your clients, this is certainly the time. I've got advisors that are asking me if policies are still going to pay. When your client calls you and asks you that, this is the perfect time to say, not only are they going to pay, but this is the time for us to put more insurance in force if you're worried about it. So please reach out to us. Let us know how we can help you. Thank you for joining us on this WebEx, and we hope that you will dial in on Friday again to hear about In Good Order and how to submit cases using that technology. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you all. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.